All right, welcome to Startup Spotlight. I am here at Locus down here on 120 West Holly Street. I'm with Kaycee and Jess. Say hi to everybody here.
Hello.
Sounds like you guys have been working on a lot here.
Definitely a lot. We started on December 23rd and we haven't stopped since. We quit our job and then it's just been all uphill from there.
Uphill meaning a lot
uphill
of
and downhill actually.
Yeah, so like
Might be some both.
easier and also more challenging in some ways, right?
More challenging in like a rewarding way. It's been better to challenge ourselves with something that we enjoy a little bit more. And it almost feels that we're kind of not working, but working in a way, in a sense. So yeah, it's been good.
Cool. So December, what did you do before?
We worked at a drive-thru espresso together. I worked there for 16 years. She worked there for almost 7. We managed as a team, her and I, for a little over 3 years. Really fast-paced, high-volume espresso stand. It's been in Bellingham for 23 years. We obviously served espresso, but lots of food made in-house. And before that, I was a barista also. So I've been a barista for 20 years. So it's going to be nice to add in some beer and wine knowledge for myself, just because I feel like I wasn't really pushing my mind out of its comfort zone after being in the same, business for 20 years. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you both know coffee really well and are adding in that element of wine and beer, and then also, do you say spirits as well, or just wine and beer?
spirits, and then a little bit of fusions that have to do with
Like
coffee.
just beer and wine though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just beer
Oh,
and
sorry.
wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say fusions, tell me a little bit more about fusions. You're telling me a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah.
But like something like this, what is that? What's in that?
Yeah, so we wanted to be a little bit creative since we're not doing liquor. So we wanted to do some cool concoctions that mixed coffee with wine, coffee with beer. So we're doing like red wine lattes, red wine hot chocolates, like cold brew IPAs, which everybody will just have to come and check it out.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Does that happen a lot?
Somebody wanting to come in.
Yeah.
Getting close.
Yeah, getting very close.
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Actually, the guy outside asked me if he could wash the windows, and I said I'd talk to you about that.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
We can talk after.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So a fusion is something that I think that I've only done at home.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you're taking your coffee knowledge, which is very extensive. You're taking beer and wine knowledge, which is something that has been a part of your knowledge as well, and putting those things together and creating something that's, I've never seen anything in Bellingham like this, which I think is really rad. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, we're really
Yeah.
trying to, we're already out of our comfort zone, but we're trying to mix something that we are pretty comfortable with something that we don't know as well. But we're trying to kind of create like a new atmosphere, also creating new drinks with that as well. So yeah.
Cool.
I feel like a little bit of a spin-off on the fusion kind of goes with like the logo, the name, and then also the vibe in here, wanting to bring all types of people and making them feel comfortable no matter if you like one thing or another, or you are this crowd or that crowd. And the fusions are kind of like within that, right? Like this mixes well, maybe, but you're not going to know until you try it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're
Yeah.
saying definitely come in and try it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
come in and
Oh,
try
yeah.
it.
Why not?
So it sounds like that fusion culture was what inspired the whole decor, the ambiance of this place. Now tell me a little bit more, like how did you choose the light bulbs and the graffiti and all the cool stuff in here? Because it's got a great energy to it.
Yeah, we just wanted to do something just completely different, and we have always talked about, like when we were first thinking about maybe like over a year ago about opening up our own stand, about bringing in, we just had a whole slew of ideas. And so when we were thinking about decor, we were thinking out of the box and like, what does Bellingham not have specifically like inside, like, and we're right next to an alleyway. So we had just thought that graffiti would be such a cool thing to actually bring indoors. And yeah, that's just something that we've just really rolled with. And then the light bulbs, we kind of wanted to make it like a little bit more of like an industrial feel, but still really clean, but just more vibrant and fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just brighten it. It was very dark in here before in the evenings. And since we're going to be open early in the day into the evening, like she said, with the bulbs, we want it to be a little bit bright, but also soft so it's comfortable. And then with the graffiti, like she said, being in the alley, being downtown, kind of just started with what we kept calling street vibe. But then we kept getting feedback like, oh, like a truck. And we're like, well, no. So that's kind of where I think like the urban industrial kind of vibed into that, because we're like, well, no, we're not going to be a street vibe truck. We're actually going to be in an alley, you know, in a building. So I think it just kind of all tied together.
Yeah.
Like
Cool.
that.
So, but it does have that vibe, but it's in a natural location, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So so far, and I know that part of entrepreneurship is you have these successes, and people talk a lot about these successes, and opening up is one success, getting this place ready is one success, and you're there. And tell me a little bit more about the path. What has that been like for you both? What have the challenges been like? What do you love to do? What do you not love to do?
I think that it all started like on December 23rd, and we got in the building on the 1st of the year. So that was kind of a whole thing in its own. Like, first of the year, no job, spent all this money on a business. Here we go, we're diving into it, like new beginnings. And then it's just been craziness in here. We did all the cleaning, all the gutting ourselves, like with help of like customers from our previous employer, and then family and friends. Like, we have had nonstop flow of people coming in here just to lend a hand without us even asking. So that has been like really touching. But we've also done the majority of stuff by ourselves, like the construction, the lighting, finding things, bringing it in here, putting everything together. It's all done by us. So I think that's really uplifting for us. It's been, I think, more time consuming because of that. So that is something that is, yeah, we struggle.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're really ambitious, and so I think we were like, yeah, we're gonna get in there, and essentially you're buying a business with the furnitures and fixings, and then once you get in here and realize, okay, this, maybe I don't want to use this, and I don't want to use that, now I don't want to use that, now we got to get this. So I think, like she was saying, just getting rid of the stuff that was here that we thought we were going to use, and then bringing in new stuff
that we had spent the money on, and then we just got rid of it anyway. So.
Yeah, but that's been exciting to see the change.
Yeah,
I feel like the behind the scenes struggles for both of us is neither one of us really likes to sit still or sit at a computer. So we spent a few days, like 6 hours in other coffee shops to focus on those paperwork, behind the scenes, menu, calling Comcast, those sort of things that we both
just not
do not like. And so we have our strengths and weaknesses, and we definitely use those to our advantage, but I would say not necessarily weakness, just something we don't enjoy, so we try to put it off. And when we have to do it, we are definitely mind burnt by the end of that.
Yeah,
where we'd rather
mind burnt.
Hashtag mind burnt.
But we'd definitely rather be in here doing hands-on things than doing those things, but it has to be done. So.
And that's something a lot of business owners run into, because most of us aren't accountants or don't have the joy from, like, you know, admin work or anything like that. I'm very much like that. So it's very interesting to see that, like, you have your passion, you have what you want to do, but you have these speed bumps, not necessarily barriers, but speed bumps that you have to get over to get there.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about each one of your strengths and weaknesses. It sounds like you guys have similar strengths. It sounds like the weaknesses are not necessarily just weaknesses, they're just things you don't like to do. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Gosh, that's a hard question.
My weaknesses definitely would be like typing any admin stuff. So anytime we've had to type up, like for the liquor license, for example, that was pretty much, even though she doesn't love being on the computer, it's her strength. She wrote many papers in college and can probably do that in a fraction of the time that I could. So definitely my weakness would be typing up anything that we would need to, or doing like Excel spreadsheets or anything like that. So
I think she's definitely been more of like the phone caller than I have, and I have to multitask in order for me to feel like I'm actually doing something. So like being on the phone for hours is something that really frustrates me, and she's really good at that.
She's good with just getting the phone calls
getting
done.
the phone calls done, and
Yeah.
I'll just be in, like, we kind of have divided and conquered in a lot of ways. So I'll be in here touching up paint and doing all this other stuff while she's out running around doing phone calls, and we have to kind of do it that way when we're just the two-woman show here. Yeah.
And then I feel like between the two of us, as far as compromising and, you know, using, you know, your eye for design or my eye for design for certain things, I feel like we have actually done pretty well considering how much time we spend together. And
You're not sick of each other yet?
I'm currently living with her and her
Yeah, she
husband.
lives with us.
So, but I just
Not
feel
yet.
like
Yeah.
No.
we had a couple little tiny bumps where our conversation wasn't vibing, so we thought each one of us was talking about something different. So sometimes you just have to walk away or say, we're gonna hug it out and walk out of the building so we can get out of this environment for us to
Yeah.
regroup the conversation. But I feel like strength-wise, especially being like only childs, we're both only childs and kind of have gotten whatever we want to do, you know,
On the family side.
on the
yeah.
family side.
Yeah.
So I think that we've done really well considering that in common.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys have similar upbringing, being only children, to then, but you have a lot in alignment because of that, and that's what you guys have connected on?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where the name, I mean, we have had a lot of names that we were bouncing back and
Tell me
forth,
about those.
but
Yeah.
essentially we wanted it to mean where either two people meet in the middle or somehow how we're intertwined or why we came together and did this. Yeah.
Because it essentially means like 2 points meeting in the middle. It can be very mathematical or
Yeah.
like architectural, but we want it to mean like, you know, we are like point A and point B, and we're meeting at this center point, which, you know, we wanted to signify our relationship, but we also wanted to signify, you know, we're downtown, we're the meeting spot, everybody's gonna meet at this point right in the middle. And
Coffee
then,
and wine?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
also like all the elements coming together somehow, meeting at a point to create a fusion or, you know, like a signature drink or something like that.
It's really cool. I actually didn't know what Locus meant, but I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
the T, it's
Yeah.
not a bug.
Locus, yeah.
Yeah. We actually, I don't remember all of them because we had so many, but there was one. I think we liked the name, but we also just liked it had an upside down V, and so it was called Rival.
Oh.
But after thinking about it more, we thought, okay, well, that could kind of come off
Be confusing.
really confusing
Yeah.
in different ways to other businesses. It was taken anyways, so it kind of worked out
Yeah.
for us.
Check that off the box.
I think like
Yeah.
twisted was one of them because I was like, you know, like a braid, how it's twisted, we're intertwined, but then it was like that could sound a little bit
Yeah.
The drinks
twisted.
the drinks are twisted, right?
They are, yeah.
Twisted tea, there you go.
So yeah, there was just a lot. There was probably about a week that we bounced back and forth, text messaging different words we were finding, and I was the same way at first, like Locus, I don't know. So I did my research and I thought, okay, yeah, that's actually really good because
It's like one of those
yeah.
names that you came up with in the beginning and
You
finally
shied
came
away
back.
from, you kind of went different
Yeah.
directions and then came back.
Yeah, and then you came back to me and you're like, oh,
I mean, we
like it.
actually had a name that was more than one word.
Mm-hmm.
And after meeting with a friend of ours, he suggested doing a one word and kind of gave
Simple.
us some insight on why he felt that way. And we walked away
Yeah.
agreeing. So that's
It
kind of
pushes us out of our comfort zone, I think.
Yeah.
To really,
Just
think of
find-
something creative. Yeah.
That keeps coming up as a theme, being out of your comfort zone. I can really relate to that. Tell me more about how that's helped you grow as people, because that's how we grow, right?
Yeah. I think just the drive of this is our job and we don't have an income right now, so we're just really pushing to be successful and do it in a way that we've always wanted to do it, but also in a way that other people will enjoy as well. I think that's kind of our driving force, that we want to feel good in a place that we work, and we also want other people to kind of, I don't know, feel that joy also when they're in here.
I think for me, well, being out of my comfort zone after working for the same place for 16 years, seeing the same customers, you know, feeling like you can be yourself. You don't have to put on a fake face all the time with everybody. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And I think being out of my comfort zone will mainly happen more once we're open and just getting that new clientele, seeing new faces, the people that are excited that have stopped by and when you guys opening, and
So
just
that's like all
building
of Bellingham
new.
that stopped by?
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Just building new relationships with more of the community that maybe didn't ever go through a drive-through because it's just not their style, or they make coffee at home before they go, where this isn't just coffee and food. You can actually stay, or if you're in a rush, you can come and go. Customers that we did have at the drive-thru, I feel like sometimes they want to spend more time with you. They're interested in your life, and you're interested in their life. But
They're getting beeped at from.
so it's not a cafe, so you don't get to sit down and talk to those people. Where I think a lot of those people will come down and actually, spend time that they want to spend time with us, and so I think that'll be good.
Yeah, it's really unique, and so you touched a little bit on it about the person that you like, what you want your clients or your customers, real estate customers to feel when they come in here. What you feel something when you're here, and that's part of one side of it, which is your working environment. But what do you want people to feel when they're here, besides being comfortable, besides having that like meeting in the middle, like central location? What do you want, the person that walks in here when it's open to feel?
I think we've really talked about this the past couple of weeks. We really want like the quality of our products and the quality of the experience to really make like the customer feel special. Like to come in here, like even though it has graffiti on it, but still feel comfortable and welcome. And then with the quality of service that we want to provide, that we're used to providing, like knowing everybody's name that walks through our door, like we're really going to be adamant about that. Whether they've been in here once or like 10 times, we really want to be adamant on knowing people's names, where they come from, where they work, is it somewhere in town, or are they just stopping by? Like we want to create that like special experience for people who are downtown or live out of downtown or just coming by to saying hi to us.
I think one of her friends had mentioned, and this is kind of goes with the background, is being able to come in here anytime, no matter how you're feeling. You want to come, you just went on a run, you want to come, you're coming from work and you're dressed up, like you don't want to walk in here and feel like, I'm not dressed up enough for here, or I'm too dressed down. I think we just want everybody to feel comfortable and not feel like, I definitely can't go in there today because I just came from the Y, or
so either
or I have my baby and I can't come in. But that was one of our things too, is we wanted to make it family friendly.
And so because of food, is that right? Because of the food
because of the location of the kegerator, we can have families in here. And we actually had a woman come by when we were sampling. She had a little baby, and she's like, are you going to allow babies in here? Because I really can't go many places anymore now that I have a 3-month-old. And we're like, it's going to be family friendly. So I think
a lot of like wine and beer places struggle with that because they cut out a whole demographic of people.
Right.
Parents that want to have a drink.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. So basically what you're saying is people can come in here and there's a little nook that you could go hide in if you want to just have a cup of coffee or a fusion drink and just not talk to anybody, come sit at the bar. You can be social, you can meet new people. It's kind of a blend of what it is what kind of experience you want.
Right.
But it sounds like service is really important to you, and that's something that you've been doing for another business for all this time. Are you excited to be able to have your own touch on service?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We've had so many ideas over the years, and I think ever since we quit our job, it's been like this explosion of ideas that has just been nonstop. And the one that has really stuck with us is like, we want the service to be like top notch, out of this world as soon as you walk through the door. So that's something that we're definitely going to push through. Like when we start hiring people, it's definitely something that we're going to train to the max. And I mean, it's just the way it should be. You want to feel special when you walk into an establishment that you're spending your money at. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and respectful of people's time. If they're, that was kind of the concept of, keeping the bar, having a order counter, pickup counter. Essentially, if you're in a rush and you only have a quarter to pay for parking, you gotta go. You can just order pickup. It's gonna be fast. We're not gonna expect you to stay and hang out and take 15 minutes to make a cup of coffee or that sort of thing, because if you're on the go. But if you do want to stay, then we want that to be well known as well, that you can can order and pick up and then stay as long as you like. So
Because we have that drive-through fast experience, and so that's something that downtown doesn't necessarily have. Like, it's more like chill, relax, come down, sit.
Yeah,
You know, we want to bring kind of almost like the grab and go feel a little bit to, like, if you want to grab and you're like, oh, maybe I will stay here a couple more minutes, grab a stool, sit down. But if you're in a rush, like she said, we want to make it quick. So that will be challenging, creating a quality experience with, you know,
With both
paired
worlds.
with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fastness. But it's definitely something that we can do. Yeah, we've
Sounds
done
like you
it
have the
before.
ability. I think, and maybe just correct me if I'm wrong, but what I notice is you can have that experience of the slow kind of kick back, read your book experience. But if you don't have that fast-paced, quick experience in any service industry, right, then it's hard to go the other direction, right? It's hard to learn from the slow direction, but it sounds like you can learn the slow direction
Right.
with that quick paced service experience. Yeah.
I feel like it's easier to tone it down than to like pick up the speed for sure.
Yeah.
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 So what advice do you have for people that are maybe in that position? Because I talk to a lot of people that have a really great idea and they want to put it into motion, but for whatever reason just can't get over that hump. Tell me a little bit more about what advice you might have for people that are in that stage where they have that idea and they want to implement. How much money should you have saved up? Do you just find the right opportunity and just go for it and figure out the way? Like, how did you go about it?
I think that's kind of what happened to
think
us. I mean, we've been bouncing around ideas and playing, you know, looking at a ton of different other places, and then it just kind of came up and we weren't going to say no to it, and saying yes to it, I think, was the scariest part, was actually making that commitment and saying, here we go, this is our spot, like we're going to do it. I think just know in your heart that it's a good decision, and it's going to be hard for you to say yes, but just say yes and just run with it, because if you say no, you're going to regret it later. Yeah.
I think for me, like you were saying, you just, whether you're ready or not financially, sometimes you just have to go and do it. That's kind of a little bit how I felt. Having the support, like having people around you to support you, friends and family, I think is a big deal. I don't know that I would have been so easily to say yes if I didn't. Having people to, you know, share their home with me, to be able to jump ship at that time, and then also doing things alone is great, and I love being independent, but I don't know that I would have ever jumped if it wasn't to have somebody to jump with. So I think having somebody else as like-minded and supportive is a good way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's a lot to do by yourself. I
Yeah.
can't imagine doing it without her.
Yeah.
That'd be scary.
I think it's easier to give up sometimes depending on your personality when you don't have that support and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
It's easier to, you know, give up.
So what drives you? Why do you get, I mean, besides each other and having that other person to kick you in the butt on days and you need a little butt kicking, or push back when you have an idea that maybe needs a little bit of refining? What, for each one of you, what gets you up in the morning, besides knowing that you can come here, and even though, like, and I know this from when we moved spaces, our place was a mess. Like showing up, and this is like leagues beyond where our office was, but knowing that you have a place that's your own, beyond that, what drives you? What wakes you up in the morning? Why are you an entrepreneur?
I think not failing.
Yeah.
Failing's not an option. Being competitive about it, but also having that competitive mindset to where we don't think as the local businesses as competitors. We want to make friends with them. We want to meet with them. We want to have collaborative experiences, but also having that mindset as like, personally, we're not going to fail. It's just not an option. That's how I feel every time when I wake up in the morning. Like, I got to get this done, this done, this done. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, no time to waste. I think that's
awesome.
just the competitive nature of me. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not competitive with others. I'm competitive with myself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we spent a lot of years getting up at 3:30 in the morning to be at work, and we've definitely taken time to not get up at 3:30 in the morning. I mean, you can definitely
Kinda
get
nice,
more.
huh?
You can definitely get more more done if you
Yeah.
get up at that time.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
it has been nice just to kind of regroup, I think, physically
Mm-hmm.
for us, getting up at that time, you know, being in the age group we are, working 14, 16-hour days on our feet, you know, to make a living, of course, and we're not opposed to doing that again, but it has been a little bit nice to do that. And I think what helps get me up is knowing I don't have to be up at 3:30 in the morning today, right?
Really, you don't have to get up anytime.
Well,
But
but
isn't that an interesting dynamic
Yeah.
where people say, well, you work for yourself now, so you can probably just take this day off. And you say, I wish it was that simple.
Yeah.
Like, I
Feel
wish I
so
could.
guilty.
yeah. Well, we'll be
Yeah.
getting up around 5 or maybe like 4:30 or 5 to start because we're both going to be here at, you know, before 6 o'clock, but that's a big difference from 3:30 after so many years.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be working long days, so it'll be good that we get to sleep until at least 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your menu. I know, and maybe you don't have to talk about the whole thing, but
Okay.
what is your favorite or your most exciting fusion drink, food that you're doing, anything that you think people would want to know about to start off right off the bat?
I think fusions is definitely like one of our coolest things on our menu, but I think our menu just in general, the way it's laid out is pretty cool. So we're gonna have classic drinks, like your just classic espresso drinks like Americanos and brevets and lattes. And then we're gonna have favorites, so things that over the years we've noticed were just favorite drinks of the public. And then we concocted a bunch of signature drinks
Cool.
with espresso that are really tasteful, and then the fusions as well. And then we're gonna have a food menu, a long food menu. So I think separating it up like that to where if you want to feel adventurous, you can go for one of our signatures or fusions, or if you want to just stay like more simple and classic, you can go to the like more left side of the menu. So I think that can be really fun for people if they want to branch out or just stick with what they know. Food wise, we have like we're calling it the walking taco. It's
Nice.
like a taco bag. So we're gonna have a meat and a veggie option. It's gonna have like crushed Doritos or tortilla chips in it.
Nice.
Some
You're saying
yummy-
like camping kind of feel?
kind of like camping
Yeah.
style. It'll be like in a foil bag, kind of to go.
It actually came from my camping.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
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 So that's one of the things that we were really excited to try out.
The bioluminescence drink.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so that is, so it's an energy concentrate from, it's called Lotus. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lotus.
Not
and-
Locust?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
So it's a concentrate energy drink, really popular if you're somebody who doesn't like coffee, you want something different, something fruity, more refreshing. It has a added flavor to it that we're gonna kind of choose just because it kind of goes with the bioluminescence color. And then we're adding the brew dust to it, which gives it that bioluminescence feel.
Like a little shimmer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of an exciting one. I love the name of that one. I'm kind of mostly excited about our veggie.
The veggie's pretty
Veggie
good.
Because,
burrito?
yeah, because
We're talking like black beans, or is there
Yeah.
like a
so it has black beans, it's on a low carb tortilla, it's got like garlic chive cream cheese, it's
Ooh.
gonna be made with egg whites instead of regular eggs,
nice?
grilled onions, bell peppers. So it's actually
Sounds
really
delicious. Yeah,
tasteful.
yeah.
Yeah, but we have some other ones, but I think I'm really excited about that one because I think we definitely
We
like,
collaborated on that
one and
yeah.
really nothing about it is anything we ever did before
Yeah.
at our other stand. So
And we
So
have
you-
homemade queso.
oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just throwing out the queso
I
bag.
know.
Yeah.
And that's one thing too is a lot of the stuff is home like made in house and homemade instead of bought from the outside. I mean, there's going to be a few things that way, but a lot of the stuff is just
Handmade.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun to do kitchen nights and cook stuff up and figure out what's going on the menu.
Yeah, we've actually
Yeah.
borrowed a friend's kitchen who she has like an industrial kitchen in her house, so it's been
Cool.
nice to use that space. So
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have a couple little fun kid things for when the kids do come in, cookies and milk and
Cookies and
a
milk.
root beer
Nice.
float and then a beer float for the adults.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know a lot of adults that want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen beer floats really anywhere.
Really?
Well,
like
they'll be
a
here.
nitro floats.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it'll be, I think, more of like a shareable item just because we want to use like the good, not your father's root beer.
Nice.
And we want to use the whole thing, so it'd be a really good shareable dessert for people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So where can people find you on Instagram, Facebook, and online? Where's the best place to find you?
Well, I mean, we're on all of it. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Our Facebook has been going pretty good lately, and then we also have a website also that we just uploaded our own personal pictures on there,
Cool.
and it doesn't have our menu on there yet, but it has little paragraphs of what we're about, what we're going to carry, certain things of that nature, and then our Facebook at Locus is the Facebook page, and then locus.of.bellingham for Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So go check them out. 120 West Hawley. So 120 West Hawley. Come on down, check it out. So when's the grand opening? Yes.
Tentative couple weeks. We'll just say couple week.
Within
Couple
this
weeks.
month.
Yeah,
Cool,
within this month for sure. Yeah.
So you better come down here before March is up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, please
Yes.
do.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, thank you so
we're
much.
excited for you guys to open.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome.